Okay, this will be my first what if on this channel. And it will be what if Izuku Midoriya was the only male born with a quirk. Now, a little backstory. When the human when the human race began to evolve, they began to show signs of powers, but only in females. Although males for generations were born stronger by body structure, they began to fall short of the females because of their initial powers, which they began to call quirks later on. Through further evolution in the medical field, they later found out that males have a gene that can allow them to have quirks, but it is dormant. This was a mystery they could not solve. There isn't there isn't a female dominant society though. The males make up for the shortcomings of the females, so they basically respect each other. Furthermore, we are now at the day at which Deku was born. His parents would be the same, Hisashi and Inko Midoriya. Okay, a little time skip. At the age of 3, all the girls around were unlocking their quirks. All girls around Deku in his class were beginning to unlock their quirks. They began to treat the boys a little different from one another because they felt a little superior compared to them since they have powers. Okay, around the time when they were 5, Bakugo, who's a girl in this what if, in case you couldn't guess, everybody that in the anime could be a girl, yeah? So, yeah, okay. Who was Izuku friend, starts to pick on him, and this slowly evolved into bullying. She would also pick on other boys in the class with a explosion quirk. But at this time it was really tiny. The explosions were really small. Deku seeing one of his classmates being bullied instantly remembered his idol All Might, how he would always try to save others, even if it seemed impossible. He ran in front the boy that was being bullied and asked Bakugo why he's doing this. Just because they have quirks and we don't, he said. Bakugo, being irritated by Deku's words, throws an explosion at Deku, which injures Deku quite a bit. For the teachers, the sound of Deku screaming alerted the teachers around his vicinity, and they later carried him to the hospital. Deku was out for a couple of hours, in which he was thinking that he needs to get stronger. This echoes in his mind as he awoke to see his mother and Bakugo's mom sitting right next to him. Inko hugs him, saying thank God he's alright. As Bakugo's mother, Mitsuki, taps Bakugo's head and said, apologize now in an aggressive tone. She reluctantly apologized and walked out the room. Mitsuki also apologized to Inko and Deku and went home with her daughter as it was a bit late. Inko talked to the doctor to know if she can take Izuku home with her. The doctor said that he would have to stay the night, as they would like to monitor the progress at which he's healing. He has pretty bad burns, the doctor said. They want to monitor him. Um, Enku breaks the news to Deku as he bursts into tears. She comforts him and said that she'll be right here if he needs her. Right outside his door. During the night, Izuku felt uneasy as he awoke, and they thought, how to put this way. Okay, during the night, Izuku felt uneasy as he awoke and thought that he tried to save someone, and look at where it ended him, in the hospital with a severe injury. Thinking this, he began to be upset, which causes all the furniture and equipment in the room to float. He realizes what was happening around him. As he stops, everything drops to the floor. This causes a loud sound, which caused his mother, who was napping at the time, and the nurses around to rush to his room immediately to see everything in a mess. As they ask Izuku what happened, Izuku can't really explain, as they just assume it was the wind, as the window was open. Okay. The next day, Deku got released and kept thinking about what happened that night. When he arrived home, he headed straight to his room and tried to replicate it. After trying to move everything in his room at once to replicate what happened that night, he cools down a bit and thinks. He says if he can't move everything, might as well try to move one. As he focuses on a little pencil in his room, on his desk, and it slowly begins to float towards him. Him being kind of startled, although it has happened before. The first time he initially uses his abilities. Ooh. Okay. Where to go from here? He jumps in joy as he finally says to himself, I can be a hero. I have a quirk. I can be just like All Might. All Might, who's a female in this. Also, he went to school the other day like normal. With Bakugo usual bullying. He began to train every day from that day onward. Deku thought he was born. Well, he think to himself that he's born with a telekinetic quirk. But this doesn't make him arrogant at all. For him being the only boy in their known existence to have a quirk, or male to have a quirk. 5 years later, Deku has a lot better control of his quirk. He has trained it every day from that from the day of the incident, he can lift, the weight he can lift is about that of a car, with minimal effort, and can lift multiple things with a simple gesture. He also took karate classes, as he thought if he wants to be a hero, there would be times that he won't be able to activate his quirk, because some villains have quirks that can erase others, or at least cancel out. And he doesn't want to be a liability to whoever he's with, or to the people he was save. He would have way more confidence in himself, but he would be quiet. He would be quiet, and when Bakugo did anything to him, he would just not do anything. If she tried to harm anyone, though, Deku would use his telekinesis to stop her, but without making it obvious, like causing her to trip on a stone. Yeah, like causing her to trip on a stone that he moved by her feet. This would cause her to feel embarrassed and return back to her class. That day when Izuku was returning home from school, he felt a little hungry, so he went to the shop where he encountered a store being robbed by someone with a shrink quirk, as it appears. When the thief saw Izuku, she grabbed him and tossed him with the other store customers, which were being held hostage. When he made contact with the thief, he felt a change throughout his body. Izuku was confused, as he felt that the feeling was familiar, as he remembered that this was the same feeling he felt that day at the hospital when his mom was comforting him. He didn't think nothing of it back then. He thought it was just a warm feeling. Flashbacks of what had happened that night that he had felt that feeling. As he thinks to himself, is my quirk telekinesis? Or as he grips the iron shelf near him, as he smiles or smirks when he notices that the shelf crumbled where he was gripping. He then uses telekinesis to make the thief trip and hit her head, which causes her to get knocked out. Okay, I'll end it here for today. I'll continue it hopefully tomorrow if I see this video receiving support. Until next time, later.